There's so many things going on in this world, and we're going to give our 2 cents. But just know, we
We
speak
speak
facts.
facts.
Hey, everybody, I'm Michelle.
And I'm Brianna.
We're a mother-daughter duo who love to talk about things that are going on in this world, topics we see on the internet. We found that we were always having these conversations about things that were going on, and said, hey, why don't we
why not do
make
a podcast?
So that's what we started. So we're here and ready to get this thing going.
And this is our very first episode, so we're super excited.
Yeah.
And we hope you guys enjoy the episode. And let's get into the topics.
And disclaimer, if you see a crazy cat running around, that's Nala. Ignore her.
That's my cat, so yeah. That's her granddaughter. So I don't know if you've heard, but the whole thing with Drake has been crazy. Well, mostly Drake and Kendrick Lamar.
Who hasn't heard?
Honestly. Right. But it's been all over the news now. Anyways, so Kendrick and Drake have had this beef for quite a minute, and they basically, Kendrick started off with a beef with a people say it was baited, but with the song called Like That on his, well, it was a Future song, but he was featured on it, and his verse was very direct to Drake. How do you feel about this whole beef?
I feel like we're in a time where people are being exposed, and this is an exposure time, and I feel like Drake is not an authentic person. I have a very big issue with people who are not Black Americans perpetuating Black American culture.
Yeah.
And it's not about him being mixed. I know people had that thought for a while, but there's plenty of mixed people that are in the entertainment industry that the Black community doesn't disown.
Like J. Cole.
Right. I mean, he's super respected. People really like him. I think that it's the inauthenticity. And I think it's the fact that you're not from America. You're from Canada. You were raised, I mean, honestly, you weren't raised as a Black American kid.
Well, I was seeing that he went to an all Jewish school, and he was like, I saw this interview. It was on TikTok.
It was like a private school?
Yeah. Okay. It was a private school. And TikTok's a World Wide Web. But he had this interview with this lady. I don't exactly know who she was, but he was basically talking about how he wasn't the cool kid in school because it was an all Jewish school, and how like he wasn't considered a cool kid and all, and this and that. So the thing is that I see a lot of people saying, oh, y'all don't like mixed people. It's not the fact that people don't like mixed people. It's the fact that he grew up Jewish and he's not American. There are Black Canadians. He doesn't act like a Black Canadian. He emulates Black American culture, and that's what most people are saying, that you're over here trying to act as if you're a Black American when you Canadian, and not only that, you grew up Jewish. You went to an all Jewish high school, and you're an actor. You're a child actor. So
right, and that's why I said, like, I feel like that his whole rap career has literally been one big acting role. Yeah. Like, he's literally been, it was like he was handed a script and was like, okay, this is how you act. And based on things that he had seen, it was like, this is how Black Americans act. I'm just going to go emulate that. And I think that people who are his fans and people that get mad about that, I don't think they really want to be deep enough to think about the fact that dude's an actor. I mean, we saw him as Jimmy. Then we saw him as wheelchair Jimmy. We saw him crawling around on the floor crying when he got like on Degrassi, when he like fell off the wheelchair or whatever. So he acted, and we know he's not a disabled person. So it's not like they casted an actor who actually had a disability. They casted him. So he was acting like a disabled person. So it's not far-fetched to think he can act like a Black person.
Right. Yeah. Another thing that Kendrick had noted was that the allegations of him being a pedophile, which were really serious, and that was one of the biggest things that Kendrick kept on bringing up. And basically, he compared him to Weinstein and Epstein, which was very. I would say that's a very volatile compliment per se. Not really a compliment, but
comment.
commentary.
Right, but you know it's so funny. It's like people were talking about like, well, he ain't suing and this and that, and it's just like, well, then clearly, then the information was enough.
And not only that, I saw he was like he when in his last diss back. And I wouldn't really consider a diss because it wasn't really dissing. All he was saying was, "I'm not a pedophile. I'm not a pedophile. I'm not a pedophile." But he brought up Millie Bobby Brown, and people were just like,
"But he didn't say he's not a pedophile." That's the thing. That's what people were saying. You really didn't disown it. He just basically said, "If I was, I would be in jail." Really, sir? Because
Bill Cosby was a.
How long did Bill Weinstein, all of these people that are predators or alleged predators, alleged predator, none of those people, like it really, honestly, it felt to me like you're playing with our intelligence.
Right.
Because there's plenty of people that are rapists, pedophiles that are not in jail. You have to get caught first to go to jail.
Right.
People do this for years and don't get caught. That's like saying, well, I'm not a murderer because I've been caught, but they know you killed somebody. Well, you haven't been caught, but you're still a murderer. And it's the same thing. It's like, and you have said things out loud that people have now pulled up.
Right, that's the thing. A lot of people are going back on his old tweets and stuff and saying that. And not only that, he has a song called Teenage Fever, which people are like, this is kind of suspect. This is kind of sus. And not only that, like also his dad has said some shady stuff.
I feel like he, I don't know. It's just, I just wish that we as a society didn't wait to critique lyrics and stuff till something like this happens. Like when that song came out, and granted, it was like things have progressively been changing. Y'all should have been side-eyeing that then.
Yeah.
Why are we side-eyeing it now? So that's where I think it gets,
people don't really listen to music. Like people don't really dissect lyrics unless it's like someone who's Kendrick Lamar, who who's consciously going to be saying something, or like
and it was a diss.
Right. People are going to people may consciously dissect Jay-Z's lyrics because they know that he's very philosophical. People are going to do it with Kendrick Lamar because they know he's very philosophical. With Jay-Z, with Drake, people really just listen to his music for a vibe. People really just listen to his music just for a good time.
They say really Drake makes pop music.
He does make pop. He's a pop rapper. Like he is a pop artist. He's not no rapper. And I saw somebody else make a TikTok speaking about that, and I was like, this person is right.
Spot on.
Yes. So, yeah. But Drake. But I think Drake's. I think one of the issues with Drake is that his influence with his dad is also a problem. Like the way his dad has an influence on him, and I think has kind of curated the person who he is.
They don't call him Dennisthemenace for nothing.
They really don't.
I mean, and not saying that his dad is a pedo, because we don't know that, right? But we do know that like, we saw something the other day where a young lady was like, anybody in Memphis knows if you from Memphis, you know that his dad, Dennis, don't try to talk to you.
Right.
That's a shame. And like when I saw that, there were so many females coming out of the comment like, yeah, and they were like naming the locations. Like what
Is he married?
I have no idea what Dennis does. I don't know that man.
But so he actively tries to seek out younger girls, or is it just
he's like a dirty old man?
I know I saw this tweet. I don't know exactly who it was from, but someone had said that he tried to grab their butt in a club, and then when she posted it online, and when it hit the blogs, he tried to gaslight her. And then I saw another tweet subtweeting that, or maybe it was the other way around, but I saw another tweet subtweeting her and she was like, my friend, he tried to sexually assault my friend. And she basically said that man needs to be strapped to a booster chair at Delilah's. And
Delilah's, that's the place everybody was talking about. Yeah.
So yeah, this man needs to be in one of those electric wheelchairs when he's like.
That don't mean he still can't be a pervert.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but I mean, But
nasty.
For us to say that Dennis had an influence on him, then that kind of gives those people who say, well, he was raised in Memphis. Well, why does that have an influence on him if he wasn't around him? Kind of gives them a little bit. But I will say this, like, I know someone had mentioned, well, he was raised in Memphis and in Toronto. He probably went and visited his dad for the summer, but he wasn't raised in Memphis. It's like me, like I'm in Atlanta 5 times a year, but I ain't from Atlanta, even though I may tell my best friend, girl, I'm from Atlanta. Shout out to my BFF, Erica. I'm from Atlanta, but I'm not from Atlanta.
Right.
And so he's not from Memphis, so it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I feel like his career will never be the same.
Yeah. And also, one last note on this, just to put a pin in it, but him also mentioning George Zimmerman and Kyle Rittenhouse and the slave part was totally inappropriate. You didn't have to do that. Kendrick, and that shows who he is.
Exactly.
Shows exactly who he is. The fact that you made a rap joke out of that was very like
about George Zimmerman who killed a black child.
Right. Like, who are you talking to, Drake? Like, I was offended. I was severely offended by that. So I was like, at that point, you had lost the rap battle because you should be able to make a point without bringing that up. But yeah, Drake, you're trash. And I used to like you. So lately, I've been seeing people talk about the bear versus the man challenge. Well, it's not really a challenge, but people are like, if a woman was stranded out in the woods, who would you rather be with, a bear or a man? And I see a lot of people constantly pick the bear, and I personally would pick the bear too.
Yeah. I was having a conversation with a couple people about this today too. I think the sad part about that is that most women are picking the bear. And I know someone who, she said she asked her husband, and if it was her, what would he want her to do? And he said, I'd rather you pick the bear because a man probably will sexually assault you. And like on one end, she was like, oh my God, like, wow, my husband really like is aware. But on the flip side, it's really sad that that's the mindset. And it's really sad that
men know that
you can actually, that women would say, I'd rather take my chances with a bear than a man. Mm-hmm. But this stems from, to me, people not teaching their sons that you don't have the right to a woman just because. Why aren't we teaching our boys you don't get to touch somebody, and a woman can walk by you butt booty naked, but that doesn't give you the right to touch her.
Right.
And so a woman shouldn't feel afraid around a man that, oh, he's going to assault me. The fact that we have to teach our girls, watch where you're going. Who are you going to be with? Watch these people you're around. Don't wear this. Don't do it. We have to do that because if not, there's that fear that you'll be assaulted. But why are we teaching girls this as opposed to teaching boys? You don't do that. Yeah. You cannot be a toxic male.
I feel like as someone that's part of the Gen Z, I mean, I'm not freshly 21, but I'm 21, and there's some times where I want to go out and wear certain things, but I'm afraid that I'm gonna be looked at, or people can think that they can have access to me because I'm wearing something that they may deem as sexual. Just because it's not just about what I wear, but because my body is a little bit more voluptuous.
I don't think anybody's gonna say you're voluptuous.
Well, what would you consider it?
You like slim thick.
So because I'm slim thick, I feel like it doesn't matter what I wear, people are going to look either way, and it is an uncomfortable feeling. Like, I feel like when we're in New Orleans, I feel like it was happening a lot, even when I was wearing basketball shorts, and that's like, and it's very disappointing because it's like, it doesn't matter what you wear, you can be a possible victim at any time of the day. And you can be fully dressed up and be a victim, and be fully naked and still be a victim to sexual assault. So it's scary. It's very scary, especially as a younger woman. And people don't realize that a lot of older women also get sexually assaulted because they think that they're frail and they're
weak. Like elderly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's very
scary and sad.
Like you as a woman, you as a lady, you never get that sense of peace of knowing that I'm safe. You never fully feel safe. So I just think that that's sad, and that the fact that society is doing it. Not only that, it's getting worse. I feel like, and I feel like people don't raise their sons. I think that's also another problem. People don't raise their sons, and people raise their daughters to be a certain way. They're like, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't wear red nail polish. And it's just like, but they just will let their son stay in the room and play video games all day and be like, oh, he's just in the room. He'll come out when he wants to.
Right.
No, and it's not. That should not be it should not be like that. And I just think that society needs to change. But I think that with my generation, I think that a lot of things are changing and beginning with us. So hopefully, that will soon be something we can fix within our society.
Or put in the past, yeah.
Okay, so we know that this past, I believe, was it Monday?
Yeah, the 6th.
Monday was the Met Gala. I just want to make a disclaimer that
yeah,
the Met Gala, I think it's somewhat a stupid concept, but I do like seeing the dresses,
the fashions.
That's all really what they go for, just to walk on a just really to walk on a red carpet and show off what they're wearing. But
someone asked that on Threads, and Simu Lee from Shang-Chi. Someone was like, what do y'all do? Just put on outfits to walk on the red carpet? And he was like, actually, no, it's like really cool inside. He was like, it's an opportunity to be able to mingle with people without their agents and handlers and stuff in the way, because those people don't come. Well, your agents, your managers, that's what they call us. Because they're not there, right? It's just the person that's invited. And he was like, I talked to this person and they gave me fitness tips, and I talked to this one and they gave me he was like, it's just a really cool vibe. He's like, you're all like, he's like, there's seating inside, and I guess there's like hallways, and he's like, but everybody's really mingling about just talking to each other. He's like, there is like food, but he's like, it's really more about just being able to be with people and being a cool vibe. I get it, but I don't know. I feel like, we were like looking at the fashions and we were really liking the fashions. And then I kind of came to you after and was like, should we talk about this? Because I do feel like, is it a little obtuse right now to be out here at the Met Gala wearing all these fashions and children are dying? It's
literally,
it does seem a little bit off-putting. And I do know a lot of people, there's been a lot of commentary about people that are very upset about it and feel like it was not a good thing to do. So while I was enjoying the fashions, it's like, yeah, that is kind of true. Like, is it really needed? And I think that we're also becoming a society that's over the overindulgence.
Yes, because I feel like celebrities and influencers, I feel like for some influencers, this is really good for their brand, because I know there's this fashion influencer that I've been following. But he's really privileged, and he can go to Louis Vuitton and just shop for free because he's just one of those high-end fashion influencers. But I still feel like there's a sense of detachment from what is actually going on in the world. And it kind of feels like, I heard people kind of compare it to the Hunger Games. Like how like there's actual real stuff going on, and it's like the what is it called, the District 1 or the higher ups, or just living about their life freely, wearing whatever they want, wearing weird stuff, being able to express it in art, but they're not talking about what's actually going on in the world. Like, they're quick to post about what they got going on or going to the Met Gala instead of posting real things that actually happen. And it's like it's giving kind of ignorance to me.
Well, I think maybe people are compared to the Hunger Games too, though, because you remember in the Hunger Games, remember Katniss, everybody gets all dressed up, all fancy, and then Katniss had that dress that turned into fire, and it was all a big hubbublub, and then they're really going off to kill each other.
Yeah.
But let's have this big fancy, showcase and ball and chariots, and you being drawn in by a horse-drawn wagon and paraded around and wave. And then you're going to die. So, maybe that's another reason why people compare it to the Hunger Games, because y'all are out here Met Gala and then people are dying.
Literally. and people are
and children.
And not only that, people are struggling in America.
Yeah.
Like, people, you know, can't afford to live on their own. They have kids, and they're just, it's just, you could have done something else with that. With all the money that you invested into that, that could have gone to somewhere else. That could have gone, not saying that they have to, but it would be appropriate if that were to happen.
It's also a bit wasteful too, because where are you really going to wear those outfits? The outfits are for the factor of the shock factor, and this. So like most of that stuff, the only person I saw that probably could wear that outfit again is Doja.
Yeah,
she was the only one who didn't come in. I mean, she's wearing a white t-shirt dress that was wet and put some makeup. Like, she's the only one that came in something that I feel like
was not over.
No, like it probably cost her $100.
Well, those t-shirts are probably like $1,000.
Well, whatever what brand it is.
Yeah, it depends on what brand, but
anywhere from $100 to $1,000, but
it's
still
not like a multi.
Those stuff, just the details and a lot of those things were costly.
I don't even think if we should. Yeah, I didn't, honestly. Everybody loves Zendaya, but I did not like that dress. It was definitely giving Hunger Games. That portion was definitely giving. People, they might be onto something, you know.
Yeah, it's really one of those things where you're just like, I don't know. Craziness.
Yeah, they could have done better.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I was scrolling on TikTok like I normally do, and I saw this article come up about this aspiring Black doctor who was pushed in the lake by his friends. Yeah, and he was underwater for, I believe, 10 minutes. Originally, I saw 20 minutes, but
then I read an article yesterday that said like 10 minutes. Yeah.
And is he on a ventilator still?
The last article I had read said that he was cognizant, like he was cognitively aware, but he's not speaking. Okay. But yeah, initially he was like in a coma, and they didn't even go get him out. Like, it was someone that was a patron at another restaurant on the beach that went and got him out, and he was with a group of his friends, but he was the only Black person there with his group of friends.
And that's the thing. This is why I emphasize why it's important for other Black children to have other Black friends, because the likelihood of that happening, if he had other Black friends, probably wouldn't. I mean, unless he's just in the bad crowd, but he's an aspiring doctor, so it means that most likely his friends are going to be of that same proximity, going to college too to be a doctor. So I just think that it's important for Black people to really befriend other Black people.
Absolutely.
Even if you don't feel comfortable, make yourself comfortable with your own culture and other people and different people from outside. I mean, different people from your culture too, because I mean, Black people, we know that Black people are not a monolith. So there are going to be different types of Black people, but it's always important to make yourself feel comfortable with those different types of Black people, because honestly, like, that's all you really have when it's just in a room full of all other minorities and white people. You know, all you really have is that connection to Black people, and and you feel like, and it's like sometimes like when you have that Black friend at work, and it's like, girl. Yeah. Let me tell you what this person did.
Oh, you can get that look like, you know, or even when you don't have a friend. I know I've been in, I'm in an industry that is, I'm a lot of times the only Black person in the room. But when I've been in situation, and I always search the room, and it's just like a Black people thing. Like, I always look through, okay, let me see how many else are in here. I always look for the other Black person. And it's so funny because I've seen that before. Like, people say that, like, Black people always look for the other Black person. And I think it's because we know if something pop off, we have each other. Right. And it's a kinship. We may not know each other from Adam, but it's like that recognition of, I see you, you see me. If something pop off.
Right. Or when somebody says, or like when you're in a meeting and like someone says something, and you just like, you automatically look at that Black person. You like this. What did I just say?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it gives you that sense of
like, girl,
understanding. Like someone understands you.
You can literally be like,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a really sad situation. I hope he fully recovers. I would hate for his goals and dreams of being a doctor to be gone because of that. And people need to stop pushing people in the pool.
And people need to learn.
And I'm gonna say something. White people, y'all do that a lot. y'all like to play and do that, pushing people in the pool. We don't like that. We don't like that. It's not funny. We don't like it. And
especially after someone emphasized that
they can't swim because he couldn't swim.
Or they don't want to be in the pool.
He couldn't swim, so why would you push him in there? Why is that funny? It's suspect, honestly. And Black people, y'all need to learn how to swim. Like, I'm sick of hearing we don't know how to swim. Yes, back in the day that was the case, but there's literally no reason why we shouldn't be learning how to swim. We should be teaching our kids how to swim. And frankly, if you can't swim, you shouldn't be going to the beach, the pool. I mean, I don't want to be like they can't do anything, but I do feel like if you have kids and you can't swim, but you want to take your kids to the pool, who's saving your child?
Right.
Who's saving your child? Or you're going to expect someone else to jump in and save them? You know, because you jump in and you could drown yourself and your child. So to me, if you have a kid, you need to know how to swim. You do. It's important. Or younger nieces, nephews, anybody that you're in control of that you might be taking out to a pool, anything water related, you need to learn how to swim. You cannot rely on the lifeguards and those other people there to try to save.
And it's not only that they don't know how to swim, they don't know how to hold their breath underwater. Like, you can tell they're like, I've seen a lot of times where like people don't understand how to hold their breath.
Really?
They can't swim. So like, so they're swallowing water.
Well, because they're panicking.
Yeah. So even you when you're in water, you kind of gotta stay calm, unless it's like you're in like the beach and the waves are just crashing. But when you're in like still water, like a lake or something, because I think he was pushed in a lake. You kind of have to. It's important to learn how to hold your breath underwater. That's also a very important tactic that you need to learn. I feel like a lot of Black people don't know how to do that.
Well, if you don't know how to swim, you learn that in swimming lessons.
Well, yeah.
I mean, but it's not even just. They'll go up in the water. There are plenty of people. I mean, when people panic, anybody can do that, even a swimmer. But in swimming lessons, they do try to teach you those kind of stay calm. I mean, of course, in situations, it's easy to say stay calm and you might freak out. I just think that we need to know how to swim if we're taking our kids to school. I guess
it's kind of like a generational thing, because if the parent doesn't know how to swim, how are they going to teach their kids to swim? And sometimes swimming lessons are
pricey.
But I guess as a parent, you have to teach yourself how to swim on your own.
Or there's like YMCA's, or there's programs out there that will give swimming lessons to people in inner city areas and things. There's places that will do that. YMCA's and community parks and things like that. They'll do it. It's just we really got to get that stigma out of here that Black people don't swim and that we don't. We really have to we have to stop that. Right. We have to.
It's a bad thing.
Yeah, it is. It's really rough.
So, the last topic we're going to hit on today is this serious topic about Pastor JP John Paul Miller and his late wife MICA Miller. So you know a little bit more about this topic than I do. I did a little bit of my own research, just because I want to have the facts straight. Yeah. But, it's seriously a bad. It's not bad. It's a sad situation. It seems as if, from what I've learned, she's been a victim of him since 15. She was originally his babysitter to his ex-wife.
Him and his first wife.
His first wife's son.
Yeah.
And she then became, at 15, and then she then became his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And
he was the pastor of the church at this point, or he was like a youth pastor or something. He was still a pastor there. What was happening? I know that yesterday was a lot of things that came out and said, "Oh, they got her 911 call," and I'm gonna be honest, I still don't believe it. I still don't believe it. Yeah. I mean, I still don't believe it. This woman literally said, "If I'm found shot in the head, he did it," and it's like, okay, with the AI, and not just AI. I mean, we saw pictures. There's literally a picture of Beyonce, Beyonce, Rihanna, and Katy Perry at the Met Gala. That they were not at the Met Gala due to AI.
Right.
And it looks like they were there.
I was like, oh my God, Mom, look at
Katy Perry's dress. And it was on the news.
Comments and you're like, oh.
And it was on the news. They said, and there's a thing on like Yahoo where it's like Katy Perry's dress fooled all these people on the internet. So with AI, back to MICA, with AI, I mean, that could have been, her voice could have been AI, but I also feel like he could have been forcing her to say that. He could have been holding a gun to her head and forcing her to say those things. When you look back through this affidavits, the things that this man had her do, affidavits showing that he would they would go pick up homeless people and he'd make her have sex with them.
What?
One time they picked up a homeless person. They thought it was a woman. It was a man. He performed sex acts on this person. This is allegedly, supposedly, per affidavits. Um, and he beat his first wife. His son has been arrested for beating his wife.
And I saw that was in just the January of this year.
His son?
January of 2024.
Yeah.
His son went to jail
for beating his wife.
And I saw his dad's a really...
And JP's father is a pure predator. This man has been to jail before. He started a ministry overseas, was in Pakistan, got ran out of Pakistan because he was essaying Pakistani men, and they basically were going to bring him up on charges there because being gay there is bad, and they call him like the pastor who likes boys or whatever over there. But his father's some pastor, and his father's in cahoots with his best friend, who's someone he was in prison with, who they believe is the father's lover. And so these people are in all kind of stuff, money laundering. There's money issues. I mean, MICA had journals. She had affidavits. She'd reported things. Days before she died, her tire had been slashed. They were found tracking devices on her car.
And I learned that just the day before she died, she had filed for divorce.
No, it was a restraining order or a divorce. May have been divorce.
It was divorce because they were already separated. So I'm looking at my notes now. So the day before she died, she filed for divorce. And then if you look on her Facebook, do you know what her Facebook is?
It's Micah Miller.
If you look on her Facebook, Micah Miller, it literally he has no access to it.
Right.
I believe she has it set up to a way he can't have access to it.
Well, you have to have a legacy contact for them to be able to get into your Facebook.
Okay. So there's that. And so you can tell that she is really you can tell she's a victim. You can tell just by the way she's posting, by the way she's talking, and she had just went to a new church and she just got baptized not that long ago. I want to say like a week before she died. She was killed allegedly. But
supposedly she suicided. She unalived herself, but
I'm sorry, unalived herself.
Allegedly.
But also I also saw that whenever members would come to him and say basically that they're leaving the church, he would harass them and he would follow them and stalk them. This man is crazy, and I don't even know how he's able to have a church. There should be no reason why if you have a record of going to jail, you should not be able to hold a church.
Well, that's why his father did it overseas.
But he also has a record going to jail too after beating his wife too.
But he probably didn't. He might have gone to jail, but that just because you got arrested doesn't mean he has a conviction. Yeah. His father went to prison. It doesn't mean he has a conviction. But I do look at people like, why do y'all keep following these pastors that do this stuff? He had a first wife that he beat. He was messing with this girl when she was a teenager. And y'all still at the congregation. He is a deviant, and it's a small town, South Carolina. Another reason I don't necessarily believe that she unalived herself. He very easily could have paid people off. He has been known to pay people off. Also, that small town, days ago, they were hacked and couldn't get into their systems. Who is hacking some small town system? First of all, y'all probably don't even have the most up-to-date systems. So who is really over here cyber hacking a system and taking it down for ransom? No one's doing that, because not in a small town. And then you get up and now you have this 911 call. I don't believe it. I believe that something happened to her, and then he has a girlfriend already. Right. He was seen a week after her death at the mall with his girlfriend. Ironically, the girlfriend's husband died, I believe, in 2022. He was either quad or paraplegic, and she claims they used to always go to the pool and everything. He loved doing that. And this one time he goes by himself and he falls in the pool. He's in an electric wheelchair. So he rolled himself into the pool, and they said he unalived himself as well. It's kind of ironic that both of y'all's spouses unalived themselves. Right. It's giving Lori and Chad Daybell, the Doomsday Mom, who killed her kids and then went off, and then that man killed his wife. It's giving that kind of situation. And I firmly believe he thought he was going to get away with it. I think he believes he's going to get away with it. But SLED, y'all need to get involved. Just like y'all got involved in the Murdoch case, y'all need to jump on this one.
Yeah.
Swiftly and professionally.
He's just a serial beater. He's a serial cheater.
A serial sexual deviant, a serial
he's
money launderer, stealer, allegedly.
Put her in danger to have sexual.
The fact that she did it,
homeless people, but
that she was abused.
So scared.
Yeah,
like, she was probably so scared she didn't know what to do.
That's true.
And she thought that he was going to kill her. And
she said that. She said he's trying to kill me.
And not only that, I also saw a video of him preaching about how when she died, when she was in the hospital, there was 18 people on her phone contacting her saying that, hey, if you want to talk about your husband,
the mental hospital, because he had her admitted to a mental hospital.
Okay. So, yes. He was like, hey, if you 18 people had reached out, texted her, and said, hey, if you want to talk about your husband, I'm here for you if you want to talk about him. And he was like, people who do that, that's the devil. That's you're going straight to hell. And basically saying that confiding in someone else about your abusive relationship is devilish, and that you're going to go to hell, and how like he's just preaching this because nonsense.
Of course he's preaching
brainwashing and indoctrination.
Right. He's pretty preached that to make her go along with the go along. And you're right, she probably was scared. And if he'd been abusing her from early in the relationship, he's always had this hold on her. It's really sad, and I hope they find out that, I hope she gets justice. Yeah, I do. It's really sad case.
They have kids together, right?
Yeah.
I don't see why she would leave her kids with him.
Knowing how he is.
Yeah.
And honestly, probably knowing how his kids are, because his oldest son, one of his older sons from his first marriage, got arrested for beating his wife. That's a learned behavior. And it's kind of like, would she really leave her kids to be in a situation where they could end up
like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was really, and you can tell that she was really into her faith. It wasn't like no.
Yeah.
It wasn't like no. Oh, I'm just Christian just to be Christian. You could tell she really.
She was a believer.
Yeah, she was a true believer, and she really took pride in her faith. And
I like how you said she was a true Christian, because I feel like when I did watch the videos of her, she seemed like this was a true Christian. She seemed so non-judgmental, because even she made a comment, when you love people, doesn't matter who you love, man or woman. And I was like, wow, she seemed like she just was someone who was a true Christian who really, because to me, a true Christian loves everybody. Right. You don't pull that, well, you're against God because you're gay. You don't pull that crap. Like a true Christian really loves everybody. And so she really did give that. And it's just a very sad situation.
Yeah. It's like, he kind of used her faith against her.
Yes.
And it probably scared her. And when you're a manipulator, and you're narcissist and a sociopath and psychopath, that you don't care about any of that. You'll do whatever you have to do in order to really take advantage of who you want to.
Right. He definitely used her faith against her. And when you have a situation where you're raised in the church, clearly, because if she was his nanny, I mean, it was in the church, so she was raised in that church, and so that means her parents were probably quite religious, and so she's been raised in that. And so a lot of times when you're raised in that, you're taught that the pastor is this and he's that, and all these things. And so he definitely probably played on that, because he used it to make it seem like, you going against your husband. Right. That's against this. I'm your husband. I'm telling you to do this. And people weaponizing religion, just like they did back in slavery. But that's a whole nother topic.
It's a sad topic. Mm-hmm. But, I guess that's the end of the show.
No, we're not ending the show like that.
It's a really sad
topic. Yeah, it is. But just hope justice for MICA. Yeah, yes, for MICA. Yeah, for sure. MICA. I'm not really sure to say name. I don't want to say.
I think it's MICA.
MICA. Yeah, MICA Miller. Mm-hmm. I would have just gone with MICA. Yeah, but there's a lot of things. It's crazy. This world is really crazy. Yeah. It's really crazy. So
it's important that we talk about it and bring light to and so people know what's going on.
Right. And people that may not look at blogs or look at things like that, or hopefully you'll people watch our podcast. And my goal is I want people to learn. I mean, I think that you know, I'm a reader. I like to look up things. You like to, we're like facts people. We love to look up things. And I really just hope that we can be a vessel to maybe bring awareness to things, help people learn, you know, and learn about things that maybe they didn't know about.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only way you're going to make change. Yeah. So awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bye. Bye.